Welcome back to the Closed Screening Podcast. We're actually sticking to a schedule for once. It's currently August 4th. This will be out, what? Oh god, calendars. August 15th. Or no, wait, no, wrong. August 8th, if I can edit fast enough. Um, as always, I'm joined by Zachary, if you want to say hello.
Yo.
And Nicholas is back.
We're going to try to get Nicholas on as much as possible.
That's right.
Oh, Nicholas, guess what comes out tomorrow?
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Well, we're recording this for the audience, so it's August 4th tomorrow. What does come out tomorrow?
Bullet Train.
Audience members, I don't know how I feel about Bullet Train. I don't know. That looks generic action to me.
It's rotten on Rotten Tomatoes right now, but I'm going to go see it.
What do critics know anyway?
I hope Brad Pitt got paid a lot of money for that one.
Anyway, not to spend time on Bullet Train, to get into things, we'll be talking about Nope today. I think Zach has a little bit to say about The Gray Man, which I thought was just like antithesis to the Blue Man Group until he told me it was a movie. That's my shitty pun for the start of the episode, so we can get into it.
The Gray Man, what do I... There's not much to say. $200 million worth of nothingness. What a forgettable film. What a cast, though. It had everything. Ryan Gosling, Ana de Armas, Chris Evans. And they delivered me a pile of doo-doo. And the Russo brothers, I think they just figured out that you can use a drone to film. I swear to God, every time there's a transition of location, they use a drone as an establishing shot, and it's just zooming around. And it's the most distracting thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Just watch the you don't even have to watch the movie. Just, I bet if you go on Netflix on your computer or whatever, and just click different timestamps, 90% of the time, I bet it'll be a drone flying around.
Can you give a brief synopsis of what it was about?
Okay, the movie, it should have been really good. It sounded like a cool action movie about this secret man called the Gray Man. He's so deep ops that no one even knows who he is. And then he gets basically information that he shouldn't have, and then the government hires Chris Evans' character to detain him or basically kill him. But Chris Evans doesn't really want to do it, so he puts out a hit on him so that every hitman in the world wants to kill him. But that never really seems to happen. And then it's just him versus Chris Evans. But Chris Evans had a cool mustache.
Right.
I give it a 4.3 out of 10. Don't watch it.
Wow. That's low.
The Russo brothers only know how to direct it.
Members.
They have Iron Man and Captain America. I'm interested I want to go back to see those movies and watch them, and just watch them as action movies and not superhero movies to see if they can hold up as movies. Not because I'm seeing Captain America run around. I don't know.
I don't think they will, my friend. I don't think they will.
Because when they didn't have the crutch of a superhero movie and Easter eggs to put in their film and name drops and just the cinema of attraction to fall back on, it was not good.
Yeah, I'll be the first to admit I've got some issues with Civil War, so it's
But I don't want to spit on Infinity War. That was a pretty good movie. But
how's this already turned into superhero discussion?
Actually, speaking of that, let's just address the elephant in the pop culture room right now. That is the cancellation of what seems to be the almost 100% completed Batgirl film that HBO put $9 million into, which actually isn't that much money if you think about it in the grand scheme of movies as a whole.
Right.
It's the Lord of the Rings TV shows costing $1 billion. So 90 million is a fraction of that. Chase, did you hear about all that?
I saw a little bit about it on Twitter, but my Twitter is basically just Valorant and memes, so I just saw it in passing. I saw they weren't putting it out in theaters or on HBO Max, which seems like just throwing your money away, I guess.
Yeah, it's weird. I guess maybe the movie is that bad that the only like press they could get from it from a release would be like bad. Because you can spend
So
you can say, oh, 90, they already spent $90 million and they're just going to throw it away. But if they released a shitty $90 million movie, they say, they spent $90 million on this shit.
I think
What are
this
we
is
doing, Warner
yeah,
Brothers?
exactly.
no, this is a marketing ploy.
Unless they release it.
They're gonna release it. This is a marketing ploy. That's my conspiracy theory of the day.
Well, I've heard some details that so it was also, I want to say there was a Scooby-Doo movie that's
Yeah,
not going to be released either, and that they're going to
two
use
two
both
Scooby-Doo
movies.
movies.
Yes, and that the reason that they're not going to release it at all is so that they can sort of recoup that 90 million as a tax write-off, but they can only
Yeah,
do that if the movie never gets released.
yeah, I saw that. And then we saw more rumors that the Supergirl movie isn't happening, and there's now a uncertainty on if the Blue Beetle movie is happening.
Uh,
And then they said they might be pushing back the release date of Shazam
and Aquaman.
and Aquaman. Yeah, Aquaman's so far out there.
Yeah,
That to me
it's
that means
just
that they're scared of Disney because it's opening like December 17th, same day as Avatar.
I
That's
think
to me
yeah, I
saying
think
we don't want anything to do with that. Get us away from that date as far as you can.
oh yeah, that never made sense anyway. Because I think they were. I think it was a week after Avatar, so that's still no. Why would you want to compete with that?
But like
It's just a
if the
disaster.
movie's good enough, you shouldn't really care what it's going up against.
Yeah.
And then today we got the news that Discovery Plus and HBO Max are merging into a single streaming service,
Nice.
which I don't know. And they put out some pretty sexist like graph about how there's like this is what we've learned from HBO Max and Discovery Plus. It's like men watch fandoms and scripted content and they called it sit up content, like you're more engaged in it, like you're sitting up for it. And it said females watch reality TV show laid back content, reality. And I was like, who thought that was a good idea to post? And then
Yeah, that's an
they
oversight
took
right there.
off like 6 original HBO Max films from HBO Max. Like American Pickle, if
Yep.
anyone saw that. Did you see that one? Seth Rogen?
No. What?
It
I
was
heard
actually kind
about
of
that.
funny.
I heard about that movie.
It was kind of bad, but kind of funny.
I forgot it existed. That went
Dang, now I can't even watch it.
that went into the
So
ether.
yeah, but like, what are they gonna? Is that movie just gone?
Imagine that's your favorite movie.
It's got to be someone's out there.
There's
A 14-year-old boy has been upset all day. I guess it's the same thing as
Oh my gosh.
like streaming video games, and like Ubisoft got into some hot water for pulling some Assassin's Creed games from Steam, and it's like I bought this game and now I can't even play it unless it was downloaded onto my PC.
Oh, I remember seeing about that as well. Oh,
Who knows?
Anna, Ubisoft is. We don't have to get into video game shit, but I could talk about Ubisoft for hours. How shit of a company they are.
Yeah, but I really liked HBO Max. It probably had the best collection of films of any streaming service, and it had the highest approval rating of consumers of any streaming
Yeah,
service.
HBO Max was awesome. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
So
these corporate takeovers stuff.
what?
That's what at first I was like, I was real upset, and I was mostly just faulting Warner Bros. And DC's division, and then I realized that I was like, this is just part of just the acquisition of with Discovery. It's just it's like I mentioned. I know I texted you and a couple other people. It's like there's just Warner Bros. Has had no stability for years, and so the DC properties don't get stability, and our streaming services don't get stability. It's just it's a disaster.
I just hope my HBO Max subscription doesn't go up in price because I'll probably have to cancel that. It's already the most expensive streaming service. And I also like I like the interface. We don't have to nitpick, but that's the pop culture news right now.
I think that. Look, I'll
Yeah,
be
that is the
real
big
quick.
thing happening for sure.
I'll be real quick about HBO Max so we can go on. You like the interface? That's fine. That fucking their what's the word I'm looking for? The performance, I guess, of the app, at least on Fire Stick, is the worst
Oh, I've heard that.
I've
I've never had problems with it before though.
ever fucking seen. It is terrible. They just now made it like I think 2 months ago they made it to where if I click on like continue watching something or if I click on like a show and I want to restart, like I want to go to this page, I have to click the movie, hit back, and then restart. Like it doesn't take you to the page; it just plays from where you were watching.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, that's like a small gripe, but it's like, and it's like, it's super unresponsive and it's shit on Fire Stick, which is.
Maybe glow up and get Apple TV, bro.
Bro, I have a Roku TV and a Fire Stick, and so hop off my nuts.
You're speaking poor. I don't speak poor, bro.
Sorry.
All right, let's get into the main attraction.
All right.
Nope. Okay. First off, I want to start the ball.
Get it rolling.
I saw like 4 different TikToks about people having like horrific screening, like screenings of the film. Like one guy said the lights were on for the entire movie. They couldn't turn them off. Another guy said the movie wouldn't start. Like, because it's all digital now. Like, even the majority of movies shot on film are sent to the theaters digitally. So like they couldn't get because basically it's just like a web browser and you click and play it. They couldn't get it to start. Another guy said there was a giant pixel like on the screen
Missing.
that was out for the whole movie. And then when I got there, the lights were on, full, and didn't go off until like 2 minutes into the movie. And I literally went out and I was like, "Hey, the lights are still on." They're like, "Yeah, we can't do anything about it. It's on a timer."
What in the world?
This doesn't sound like Nope.
Never heard something like
this. This sounds like just like theaters really dropping the ball.
No, it has nothing to do with the movie, but it's just
that is weird.
People talk about how, oh, why are the movies dying? Because people have experiences like that because this is the kind of movie that brings people back into the theaters. Like, I bet there's some people that haven't seen a movie since Us that are gonna come back to the theaters to watch Nope, and then they're gonna, oh, the lights didn't turn off or the sound wasn't working. And then I have never once in my adult life remembered having telephones go off in the middle of a screening. In the last 3 screenings I've been to in a row, I've had like 4 phones go off. And somebody had an alarm.
That's bad audience right there.
That went off like every 5 minutes for 20 minutes. I was like, bro, I think we would care less if you opened up your phone and clicked stop instead of hitting snooze every 5 damn minutes. But
yeah, you just had a bad experience, dude.
Maybe it's that theater. Maybe it's the Regal.
I think it's just
something about Regals.
Oh well, I get free tickets for my Regal Plus app. I guess not free. I pay $25 a month, but anyway, let's get into it. Initial thoughts, boys?
Let's let the guest go first.
Go for it, Chase.
Aww. Okay. I went and saw this with Emma, which is I'll explain why that's funny later. But we went and saw this. I think there was only 5 of us in the theater, so it was I didn't have any real issues, unlike Zach and the other people on TikTok. I absolutely loved this movie. I thought it was very well written. I thought a lot of the shots were really pretty and really kind of, I don't know if that were to be clever to some degree, if that's the right word. What else? I love I don't think either of y'all have seen it. Or Zach, you've seen Akira, haven't you? The anime movie? Oh no, okay.
I've seen the clip of
the slide.
Him. I feel like a lot of people know like the Akira slide, but I've seen the clip of like the big transformation monster thing at the end.
Oh yeah, the end. Yeah. But yeah, I love the nod to Akira, the nice motorcycle slide. That's iconic at this point. What else? I thought the message was awesome. I thought there was the whole the what is what I'm trying to say? The themes, I guess, without getting into what they are, were really, really interesting. Um, and to wrap up my little thoughts, we we finished the movie. We got up and we were walking down the stairs, and I was like, "Well, Emma, what'd you think?" And she looked at me, just went, "I didn't get it," and then we walked out. Which makes sense, and I'll explain later.
Nicholas, I think we can both. I think we've admitted this on the podcast, but neither of us cared for Us.
No, not at all.
When that movie came out, 2018, 2019. I think ever since then
2018, I believe.
we've promised to go back to it and never seemed to have the time.
Never did. No.
But I think I will after watching this.
Yeah, I think I do too. If I had to just keep it real brief, initial thoughts, I'm sure we'll dive into specifics. This was one of those movies that I really tried not to see the trailers. I didn't want to know anything about the movie, so I had no idea what I was in for. I just knew it was going to be some sort of suspense, thriller, maybe a dash of horror. I thought that the film did a really good job being all those things. I just see a lot of people calling it a horror movie. I think it's definitely a more suspense thriller. But I also think it does a really good job of balancing humor, but keeping the situations always tense, which is something I think Jordan Peele especially strives to do for all of his films. And I think he always does a really good job of it, even if I don't particularly care for a movie like Us. But I thought this movie did a really good job with that. I thought the cast was great, but I knew the cast was going to be great. Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah, I think it's Kaluuya.
Kaluuya. He was great. He does a great job being the sort of in this movie. Well, I'll say this: I appreciate him being a very smart protagonist. He wasn't dumb. He didn't just sort of let the situations unfold. He was very proactive. I admired that in this antagonist. But I thought Keke Palmer was the standout. Obviously, she was the most energetic. She was the most charismatic out of the entire cast. And I thought the story, it was a little bit slow at first, I think. I think the first hour, I was kind of having to warm up to it. But then I think by the time the movie ended, it was more spectacle than anything. And yeah, I'll kind of echo what Chase said, or I guess what Emma said. I kind of left the film. I went to see it with my brother, and we kind of both left, and we're like, I don't know if I completely get it now, and I don't know if I still do, but I know I enjoyed it enough. I don't know if I loved it, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I think it's almost a curse for Jordan Peele to have made Get Out first. And I know it's not a perfect film. There's, on the technical side of the film, there's some cinematography elements that could be improved upon, which I do think he has gotten better at in the next two. But overall, I feel like Get Out's probably his magnum opus, and it kind of stinks for him because every subsequent film will be compared to that one, which I don't think is fair at all because each of these films is radically different from one another. But like Chase said, I think the cinematography was miles above Get Out, and I've only seen Us once, so I'm not even going to comment on Us. I'm going to assume that Us was better than Get Out. But I like the atmosphere overall. I like how they shot the night scenes. They shot the night scenes during the day and then color corrected them because it's pretty hard to get that range of, yeah, almost impossible to get that range of like, and that depth of the darkness in actual nighttime.
But I just said that because those were like the best night scenes I've ever seen, and I didn't know how they did that. So I was like, I've never seen night scenes like this, but that was awesome.
But I think we could. The scenes that I liked the most. I thought the Gordy episode was pretty chilling and haunting, especially since the day I went and saw the movie, I saw it the day after it released. So my TikTok is very like film like curated. So almost every TikTok I was seeing was already like either a meme or a reference to it, and I saw it was like Gordy the sequel, and I was like, I didn't know what it was. I just was watching it, and it was a real 911 call of a woman that her like pet chimp went crazy and was like eating her like friend,
Oh,
and she was calling from the bathroom.
That's like extremely. Do you not remember that? That happened what, like 10 years ago. The woman
No.
survived it. Like it like ripped her face off basically, and had to do like full facial reconstruction surgery.
It's like I watched that,
Holy
and
cow.
then I watched the movie. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm assuming that he took some inspiration from that real life interaction, and apparently, I saw on TikTok could be completely fabricated, but when Gordy's going to like do the knuckle touch right before he like did like a sign to Ricky, and apparently he was like, "What happened, family?" or something like that. Like he was asking Ricky what was going on. Like he just come back. So that's kind of sad.
Right. Wow.
But my favorite part of the movie was probably the when Ricky and all of the like the onlookers get sucked up into like the mouth. That was so like
yes.
jarring because we kind of get alluded to the fact that this is like an organism and not a ship earlier, but no one really, you would never think that, so you're kind of like, what the fuck? It was very chilling. I that stuck with me for the rest of the movie, of their screams and how you can hear them screaming as they like fly away and stuff.
Dude,
But
yes. I thought that was inspired. Like, how do you like? Because the whole time you're thinking to yourself, this is like the classic UFO, like the ship. You don't like. I was like, how did he even think that to come up with the concept of this thing is an actual like you mentioned, an organism. It's an alien,
and
it's just ugh. I don't. Yeah, they're right. There's some scenes that like just make the hair on the back of your neck stand up, and that's one of them.
This was definitely to me the most unique of his films because I don't know, like Get Out there is almost like a reflection of the society we're living in and the fetishization of like African Americans. And it's just an exaggerated version. Us is like the exaggerated version of like your best self almost. And this one was just so out of left field. It was really a fresh breath for me. Of the films that I've seen recently have been pretty shit. So seeing an original screenplay, not based on a book, not a sequel, was pretty nice for once. So I'll never shit on a film. I always say this, I'll never shit on a film for being original. I'll shit on it for being bad, but I won't shit on it for being an original screenplay.
Yeah, it was certainly original. I like I said, for me, I think the film felt long, but that's only because I felt like the first hour kind of dragged, like to get to the point where we needed to, where we finally started to really interact with the organism, I guess we'll call it. Because I felt like in the first 20 minutes, I had a good grasp of who the characters were, Kiki Palmer's character and Daniel Kaluuya's character, and I felt like they just kind of slowly kind of kept trying to like peel back on their characters a little more. And I'm like, well, I already know who these characters are. Let's just kind of get to the main thing, you know?
Yeah. We're done with the appetizers.
So,
let's move on to the main course.
Right. And it's like, I get it, right? You're trying to build that tension, you're trying to build that suspense, but I felt like it just went on a little bit too long. And I don't know how to describe it. It's just that first hour felt slow.
Yeah, it was a slog fest almost. So Chase, you mentioned themes, so I have a couple. I've narrowed it down to 3 themes. I have obviously race, the theme of over documentation, and then surveillance. So what did y'all come up with?
I don't think my I guess themes were as what's the word I'm looking for? I couldn't get it down to like one word as you did so aptly. I am nothing if not like over explanatory. So kind of my takeaways from that film were, let's see, I think the one that everyone's talking about was kind of the social media, which I think you kind of talked about with the over filming, over documenting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, which I was gonna get to. the theme of like social media and like really overdoing everything like that was, I think, why Emma didn't get it, because she is so out of like touch with, or not out of touch, but out of the loop. She doesn't use Instagram. She only uses like TikTok and Pinterest.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's a theme as much as like an allegory. The entertainment industry, I think, to a degree.
Yeah.
And then the other one I thought of was I guess oh god, I'm choking. It's like family, just kind of like a familial bond, and like I guess you can get through anything with your family, or something to the degree of that, of just like family through it all, blood is thicker than water type of thing, with specifically Keke Palmer and Daniel Kaluuya's characters.
Yeah, I would say this film's probably the most on the surface theme would be like social media documentation, like the society that feels the need to document everything. Like you go to a concert and every single person has their phone up, or everyone's looking for the Oprah shot. Everyone wants to get famous. That's, in a way, that's what we're doing right now. Like at the end of the day, who really cares about what three guys have to say about this movie? But everyone wants that Oprah clip, You post on TikTok to get blown up. You post on YouTube to get blown up. You stream so you can get that one viewer, and then 1 to 3, 3 to 100. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And
I know what you mean.
Chase is out here grinding
Almost every night.
Yeah, and like you see it in like Nicholas and I, we watched a few clips of Jackass at our time together. People are willing to do some pretty crazy things, put yourself in some pretty perilous situations in order to get the clips. But when's enough?
Do you think that trauma played a role into this film at all?
Good question.
I'm thinking about
some questions are left better unanswered.
I don't know about that. Because I'm thinking specifically with like the scene that really like kind of solidified that as potentially being a theme for this film was after we saw the whole Gordy ordeal, and then it cuts to Ricky, and he's just staring off into the distance, and it's he's quiet and just staring off for an uncomfortable amount of time, and I think that's right before everyone gets eaten.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, it is.
Like, Ricky's obviously traumatized by. I mean, it makes it seem like Gordy probably was like his friend, you'd say, and then to watch your friend maul your family isn't something that anyone would probably want to endure. But then he probably never accurately like gets help for that and turns that trauma into a business. And there's a little bit of arrogance in that, and thinks that he's outsmarted the system in a way, and then he finds this alien and he's like, once again, I can exploit the system for my own gain. And that's what does him in at the end there. He makes the same mistake
That's
twice.
The best explanation I've heard.
You can't tame a chimp. You can't tame an alien if you can't tame a chimp, right?
And I'm glad you just mentioned all that, because I was racking my head around. Like, I just didn't know. They were my favorite scenes in the movie, the Gordy scenes, but I just didn't understand why they were included. Like, part of me like was trying to, and like I could kind of see, but like I still have no idea. Like, is that everything you just said? That makes sense to me. Is that why those scenes were included?
That's what I think. Okay. Like,
me as well.
It's nature for a wild animal to go crazy. Just like it was the nature of this alien to. I'm guessing an animal of that size must have a caloric intake of the millions. So you can't give it like a horse every 6 weeks. Like, I guess it seemed like Ricky was only like giving it a single horse every once in a while, because he was buying them from what's the main character's name? OJ. Wait, that's another can of worms. Because names, you don't just name your character OJ if it doesn't mean something. We can talk about that in a second. But I mean, OJ still had a bunch of horses that he was willing to sell, not knowing that they were going to get eaten. So yeah, that's what I thought the Gordy scenes were. It was like almost like precedent.
Mm-hmm. I would agree.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think you summed it up better than I could.
That's why I'm here. I need to learn.
Also, I thought it was pretty interesting that at the very beginning of the film, we have, I guess it was OJ Senior. That's because he was junior, right?
Or, it's Otis Senior because he's Otis Junior. That's why he's OJ. I think his name is Otis.
Yeah, Otis. Yeah. Thought it was pretty interesting that you had a black man on a white horse, and then the black man is killed while the white horse is almost unscathed, and the thing that killed him was George Washington, a founding father. I saw. I don't know if I'm reading too much into this, but I felt a lot of like slavery allegories in the film. Like at the very end when the alien opens up into whatever that was, sort of reminded me of like the ship, like the sails on a ship, and just the exploitation of African Americans as a whole, and the fact that we have OJ's family like having proof that they've been in the film industry since the first ever sequence of photographs ever taken to mimic film, and they are still unable to capitalize on the fact that they not have been the backbone but are an integral part of the film industry as film animals, and they're still fighting poverty almost 150 years later. But then Ricky is able to turn him. I guess he's not that successful because he's not acting anymore, but he's more of a success story than someone that's been in the game for a skin in the game forever. Hey, that's what they said.
Hey Zach, do you study film? Because these are some pretty good takes that you have here.
What's that? What are you talking about?
What are you getting your master's degree in again?
Butthole.
No, wait. Oh, I figure if any college is going to offer that, it's going to be Arizona State. That makes sense.
Oh. Yeah, but I don't want to go as far as to say that, like, I mean, anybody could have played the part of Ricky. It didn't have to be an Asian. But I think it also comments on the comparison of the American dream for an Asian family versus the black family. Because you see, like, first generation Asian people, be it Chinese, Korean, Japanese, seem to find success a lot easier than African Americans that have been in America for 5-6 generations, and the racism that goes along with both minorities trying to capitalize on their American dream. Because it was a lot easier for Ricky to get famous than it was for what's it, Howard's?
I think so.
Haywood.
Haywood.
Yeah, Haywood Ranch. Yeah, but that's all I got about race. I'm sure there's hundreds of other allusions to race inequality in the film.
Wouldn't be a Jordan Peele film without it. I think you probably summed it up better than I know I could. I'm not going to speak for Nicholas. Something I guess wanted to mention that I had. Maybe we can save it for the end. I don't know, but
go ahead now. You got it. You
got
got it on the tip of your tongue. Go ahead.
Mind. Yeah, it's on the front of my mind. What do you think about the alien being an allegory, specifically the alien being the allegory for the entertainment industry as a whole? Or more so, not just entertainment, but like almost fame in a sense. I guess the entertainment industry, but not just like Hollywood. You know, because and nowadays you can get famous from making TikToks, making money from making TikToks. I just think,
yeah,
because I think
like, so what was the director's name?
Gosh, what was his name?
Antlers Hulst.
Sure.
Because like we talk about in some of my film classes that in essence, like the draw of filmmaking is to achieve perfection, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like every director, their goal is to orient the actors, the crew in such a way that you roll the camera once and you get what you need. Every shot should take one take. Obviously, that's never going to happen, but it's almost the chase for perfection is what drives a lot of filmmakers. Probably like Antlers, Holst. He seems to be like the best. He's editing that documentary, trying to make it perfect, and then it's almost like he realizes that capturing this alien would be the closest to perfection that he could ever get, and that almost breaks him as like a person.
Mm-hmm.
That part is, I know Abigail was kind of confused as to why he did that, but in his mind, he's like, almost no one would want to see perfection played on screen, because what's the point of going to the movies tomorrow if you've already seen perfection?
Right. That's exactly how I read it too.
But the thing is,
that's exactly how I read it.
I thought they could have been a little more clear on that, because it seemed like he just left with his little handheld camera and left the footage that was already rolling, where he already captured the alien in the camera.
Yeah, I was confused about that as well.
So I was like, did he? Because at first I was like, oh, he's trying to get footage from inside. Like he's willing to give up like his life for perfection. That's what I thought, but then they never came back around to it. So now I'm leaning more to the fact that he didn't want anyone to see it. Because what do you guys remember what he said to Angel before he?
I think he said we don't deserve perfection.
Yeah. So what? I don't know. It could have been more clear, like him taking the role with him.
I think that lends more credence to your second interpretation rather than the first.
Mm-hmm. That's why I was a little confused by exactly what the his motive was. But
it's cool. No, I mean, I think you're kind of right, or just the idea that like he, as a filmmaker, when he gets that scene, or when all is said and done, there's nothing. He's climbed the mountain. There's nothing.
What
else
more can you do?
It's it. Right.
Like you can never put out another film, because I think also that's a Jordan Peele kind of like expressing maybe his inner worries about making more films, because like I said before, you put out Get Out, and everyone says, oh, this is like your best film, you can never make another film as good as that. So it's almost like, what's the point? Like, why should I even direct another film if no one's ever going to like this film more than the one I already made? Right. So maybe that's a dig at the haters, saying I got more I got to do.
It could be.
I'm not done yet.
See, that's what I love about. I think that's what I love about just his films in general, is that I feel like he's just the type of filmmaker that just like, he obviously has the targets he wants to hit, and there's a lot of targets in all the films that he does. But at the end of the day, he just says, you know what, audience, I'm going to give it to you, and you make of it what you will. Right? Yeah. What my interpretation is may not be yours, or maybe I don't even have a one set rigid interpretation.
Yeah.
It's up to you and for people like us to come around here and discuss it.
Yeah, it's funny because one of the classes I'm taking right now is about authorship, and like the auteur theory states like that the director is the sole artist of a film, and like all the meaning that is derived from a film should be from the director, which I think is kind of naive to think, because we've all sat and given our own personal meanings of the film. So there's a bunch of other counter theories that state that, like the death of the author says that once a director puts their film, whatever, like a film, TV, books, whatever, and once it's out in the world, whatever they wanted to imprint on the text doesn't matter anymore. So whatever the viewers find from it is what matters. So I tend to agree with that a little more. But it is very interesting that we've all had sort of different themes that we've taken from this film, which I think that's what Peele wants from us.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, Nicholas.
I think that's great. I like that
Nicholas,
a lot. I mean, I don't think every film should just be cookie cutter.
Yeah, this is what to believe. This is what not to believe. Yeah, you like the
Right.
gray area of. But sometimes people can go a little too far in that where you're like, what the hell did I just watch? Did you have any themes that we haven't talked about?
No. You guys have hit on all the big ones.
I got one more that I will admit I did not come up with this one myself. I read about it, and basically there's another subgroup of people that say this is a critique on the over policing of black neighborhoods, and it's like with the surveillance cameras they put up and how it's almost a flip on that of now we're watching you instead of you watching us. And back to race, one more thing. I do think it's interesting that the alien is white. So people will always probably just try to discredit that, saying, oh, that doesn't mean anything. But the alien could have been any color in the world.
Right, that's the thing. As a filmmaker, you have the choice to intentionally do that. I mean, everything that you choose to do is a decision.
Anything else we want to talk about? I think performances, I thought they were all great, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Angel, played by Brandon Para. I think this is one of his first acting roles.
He killed it.
Let's see. I'm on his IMDb, but it's not loading. Yeah, he was on the OA for Netflix. And nope, that's the only thing he's ever done.
Do you think he looked like Riz Ahmed, or was that?
I mean, it was a small cast, but I mean, it's great.
I thought he looked like a Hispanic Dave Franco.
Yeah, that as well. I think it was just. I think it was the hair and the Sound of Metal that was making me think he looked like Riz Ahmed.
But
yeah,
that's what it is, Chase. Thank you.
For you superhero lovers, he said that he wanted to play Sam Alexander, aka Nova. But in an interview, he talked about how great it was to work with Jordan Peele and how basically affirming he is as a director, because he was often doubting his own skills to be not a lead but a supporting cast in this film. I would say he's almost a lead.
Mm-hmm.
If you give him 10 more minutes of screen time, he might be a lead. But I thought he was really good. That's basically all. Stephen Young, great as always. Can't wait until he wins his Oscar. He's close. I can feel it.
I'm so glad I keep seeing him in these films. I'm so happy.
I wish he was in it a little more.
It just makes me think about that. Yeah.
About what?
No, it just makes me think about Minari. Just Stephen Young. He deserves so much credit.
We already talked about Keke Palmer. But yeah. Ratings. Let's go final ratings.
Before ratings, there was one scene. I don't know if you guys felt this way. Besides the scene, the flashbacks to the 90s, and besides when they're being eaten for the first time, the crowd with Stephen Young when he's doing his show. The other scene that really got me was it was near the beginning of the film, I guess towards the middle, where Daniel Kaluuya's character realizes that something's happening. And he, some sort of unidentified flying object, and then he goes into the barn because he hears the light or the generator or whatever that's powered on, and then you see the head that kind of peeks out at the creatures that kind of move at first, and I was like, oh, we're doing aliens, there's actually aliens. That got me. That really did.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, they were freaking me out.
I too have one more thing. I like the TMZ faceless paparazzi.
Yes.
He's the culmination of the in essence almost he's the opposite of the Oprah shot. He's not looking for the greatest shot of all time. He's looking for the scraps. And did he have one slit in his helmet?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to get And then on his deathbed, basically, he's
Get my
begging
phone, get my camera.
anyone to take a picture of him. And he's like,
Yeah.
I'm now the content that I'm searching for. But yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah.
Hold on, let's see. What did I rate this film? You guys go first.
Well, if I after sitting on it for like a week now, I think I'm gonna give it an 8.8. Be my final rating. I really enjoyed it.
All right. That's a solid rating. That's high there. I think I go 8.2.
8.2. Let's see. What did I rate Us? I gave Us. So I've been recording every single film I've seen since 2019. I've recorded. I gave Us a 6.8. So it came out in 2019. And I have the lowest rating. I have at an 8.0, flat 8. I thought I just thought the first act, like we already talked about, was just, I don't know, a little too sluggish. And I think if someone's catching this on TV or a streaming service, they might turn it off before they get to anything good.
I think you're unfortunately right.
And once again, I can't wait for his next work. Hate him or love him, his work gets people talking.
Yeah.
And I do think he's very interesting, because there's not many directors like him anymore where just his name elicits a sort of response of, ooh, I can't wait. I don't even think like Spielberg has that anymore. We can argue about James Cameron until the sun goes up. I think maybe Tarantino probably still has that effect.
Yeah, for sure. Nolan
probably. Paul Thomas Anderson. It's filmmakers that are very selective in what they are choosing to work on, in a way. And filmmakers that, not to say that like Scorsese and Spielberg aren't selective, but I think a lot of the filmmakers that are getting a lot of praise now are the ones that are taking 4 years to write their own scripts and write, produce, and direct their own films. Yeah. But yeah, hopefully we'll be sitting here. What?
That was saying that was your easy plug to say go back and listen to you and Chase's episode on Spielberg versus Cameron.
Yes, go. Any idea what we're gonna do? Should we do Bullet Train next episode?
Oh, you're gonna make me watch that.
I knew that was coming.
No, I'm just kidding. I'll go see it tomorrow, and if it's good, I'll report back. But if it's horrible, we'll never speak of it again.
Yeah.
Chase, Nicholas, do you think you have time to do another?
I don't know. It's your show, boys. You decide what you want to do, and if I got the time, maybe I'll do it. Maybe not. We'll see.
Chase, do you want to pick a movie?
You guys run it.
Shit. Maybe. Let me think of something real fast. Let me go to my Letterboxd. Just see what I've rated.
I know Chase is jonesing to do Scott Pilgrim at some point still.
Maybe.
I know it. I see him smirking.
You know what? You want to do Scott Pilgrim?
Yeah, we can finally do Scott Pilgrim.
Nikki has to come on though.
I've seen the movie. I guess now I need to read the graphic novel.
You have time to watch Scott Pilgrim in the next 2 weeks.
I'm sure I do.
It's a pretty quick watch. It's a pretty easy watch.
Chase, you want to close this out?
Nope. Sure. Oh wait, can I plug real quick? Just a plug. I've been watching, or I watched the first 2 episodes of Paper Girls on Amazon Prime, based off the comic book series. Give it a watch. I'm enjoying it so far. I don't know if you guys have been watching anything, but
are you watching that on my Amazon? Are you on my Amazon Prime account?
Maybe.
Because I was just watching the Arsenal documentary series, and I was like, who the heck is watching this show? Anyway.
Give it a watch. It's really
Get
good.
off. I'm going to report you for sharing passwords.
But it's your account, bro. You're going to report yourself?
Oh, shit.
Get boomed. Okay, well, you want to quickly do anything we're watching, or do you just want me to? We can close it out. I have not watched anything new since last episode.
Hold on. Last night I watched Lars and the Real Girl, a nice Ryan Gosling 2007 film. I never thought a film about a guy who buys a sex doll and forms a relationship with her and has delusions that she's speaking to him and has a life of her own could be as heartwarming and as thought-provoking and thoughtful and just a beautiful story as it was, but it was probably one of the best films that I've seen this year. It was truly touching at points.
I'm so glad.
I would recommend it to anybody, even though it's not on any streaming service. I watched that new Not Okay movie with Dylan O'Brien about the girl that fakes being in a terrorist attack.
Oh.
The first I've heard of this movie.
It's a Hulu original.
Ugh.
It's about this girl who works for like a movie, not a movie, like a magazine, and she fakes going to Paris to try to impress Dylan O'Brien's character. But when she's pretending to be in Paris, there's a giant terrorist attack. So then she has to like dig herself deeper into this lie. I only gave it 2 stars. And I went back and watched Scary Movie 1 and 2.
Oh.
And
they do not hold up.
That's the most eclectic group of films I've ever heard.
Let's just say that that's not a good look for just filmmaking in general with those movies.
You remember when we watched Epic Movie at our first apartment?
Yeah. I don't remember a thing of that movie.
I still have it on DVD. It's sitting right by. It's sitting.
Which one is
that?
that?
With Drake Bell?
No, that's superhero movie. Epic Movie is where they parody a bunch of different movies. Like they parody like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. They parody. The parody is
Alvin and the Chipmunks. Is that in that one?
No.
Or the rabid chipmunks?
I don't think so. I don't remember it. It's like the majority of the bulk of the parody is like the Chronicles of Narnia.
Okay, yeah. I think they're in that.
They might be. That movie's a trip.
And then you have like Meet the Spartans. The golden age of parody movies is over. And then I rewatched Dazed and Confused with Abigail.
Hey!
She was not a fan.
Emma didn't like it either.
She was like, there's no plot.
Exactly.
I was like, that is the plot.
That's the point.
It's like American Graffiti. Anyway, that's all I've been watching. I'll probably watch something. I've been watching the Arsenal documentary. If you're an Arsenal fan or just a fan of soccer, it's actually pretty good and insightful.
See, I have not watched anything besides Love Island with Emma, a little bit of Alias, that show from the early 2000s with Jennifer Garner, and a ton of the Valorant playoffs, like the VCT, or the VLR fucking regional finals, and the LCQ started today, which you guys, that's literally nothing to speak to you guys, but it's been watching really good Valorant.
Nicholas, you watch anything?
No, just my plug for Paper Girls. Go watch it. Amazon Prime. It's good stuff. The first season's all up on there. 8 episodes.
So, Nicholas, you want to plug us today as a guest? You want to do our social medias?
Sure. I don't think I know all of them exactly, but we have a YouTube channel. Is it just Closed Screening?
I think it's The Closed Screening. Look, I don't even know it either.
I don't know if I should plug.
On it. All right, I'll do the plug. I post on all of our socials.
Yeah, go ahead and plug.
We're
on everything. I'm not on anything.
We are on Twitter at Closed Screening Podcast. I don't remember Twitter.
Twitter is Closed Screening Podcast.
Okay, we're on Twitter.
There's no the.
At Closed Screening Podcast. We're on TikTok at The Closed Screening. Our YouTube is The Closed Screening. You can find us on every podcast platform at the closed screening podcast, maybe. Hold on. Just the closed screening. This is look. If it's not the closed screening,
we need
it's
to
not a absolute. We have how many times have we done this? And I don't know.
Gosh. We need to write this down on a cheat sheet.
Fine.
Yeah, we're at closed screening on Twitter, the closed screening on any podcast site, and the closed screening
and TikTok
on YouTube and TikTok.
I'll have a TikTok
which we will be posting more TikToks, right, Chase?
I have a pretty good idea as to what I'm gonna pull from last episode. This episode I'll have to listen back to and find a clip to pull because I'm really bad about fucking doing it in real time. But yeah, I'll be posting.
Okay.
I've started posting on my personal TikTok as well, so I've been learning how to edit.
Don't plug. I'm just kidding.
I'm not. They want to watch me stream, they'll know where to find it.
Probably. See, this is what happens. This is what happens when our podcast gets too big, right? We have too many social media platforms. We're too popular.
Chase, will you be streaming tonight as of August 8th, or when are we posting it?
August 8th. Yeah, I will be streaming.
Hey.
You want me to plug my stream?
Plug your stream.
It's Loki the Fiend, Loke, and the rest is about how you think. I'm sure I'll be playing Valorant or something. You might. I have a TikTok clip that I'm going to edit right after this, and it's my magnum opus so far. So.
Oh no, that little tease.
I had to literally get I had to get our friend Herman to help me shoot some B-roll for this TikTok. If that tells you how much I put into this.
B-roll for a TikTok?
That's fucking right.
Oh
baby.
My goodness. All right, I think that's enough from us here today, right?
That's it. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we will catch you next time talking about Scott Pilgrim with me and Zach and Nicholas if he can make it. See you guys.
Absolutely.